Question number 401. Which AWS service allows companies to connect an Amazon VPC to an on-premises data center? AWS VPN, Amazon Redshift API Gateway, Amazon Direct Connect, or S3. So, the service that allows companies to connect an Amazon VPC to an on-premises data centers are option A, AWS VPN, and option D, Amazon Direct Connect. Moving on, which AWS service or feature can be used to monitor CPU usage? AWS CloudTrail, VPC Flow Logs, Amazon CloudWatch, AWS Config. So using Amazon CloudWatch, you can monitor CPU usage. Option C. Next question. Which task is AWS responsible for in the shared responsibility model for security and compliance? Granting access to individuals and services, updating Amazon EC2 host firmware, encrypting data in transit, or updating operating systems. So, option B, updating Amazon EC2 host firmware is the responsibility of AWS in shared responsibility model for security and compliance. All right. Which of the following security related actions are available at no cost? Calling AWS support, contacting AWS professional service to request a workshop, attending AWS classes at a local university, or accessing forums, blogs, and white papers. So, option D, accessing forums, blogs, and white papers are available at no cost. Moving on, which of the following are pillars of the AWS well architected framework? Multiple availability zones, performance efficiency, security, encryption usage, or high availability. Two correct options are B and C. Performance, efficiency, and security are two pillars of the AWS well architected framework. Moving on, which AWS service identifies security groups that allow unrestricted access to a user's AWS resources? AWS Trusted Advisor, Amazon Inspector, Amazon CloudWatch, or AWS CloudTrail. Correct option is option A, AWS Trusted Advisor. So, AWS Trusted Advisor is the service that identifies security groups that allows unrestricted access to a user's AWS resources. Next question. Which design principles for cloud architecture are recommended when re-architecting a large monolithic application? Use manual monitoring, use fixed servers, implement loose coupling, rely on individual components, or design for scalability. So, two recommended options are C, implement loose coupling, and E, you need to design for scalability. Next question. When architecting cloud applications, which of the following are a key design principle? Use the largest instance possible, provision capacity for peak load, use the Scrum development process, or implement elasticity. So, option D is the correct option. You need to make sure that you have implemented the elasticity, which is the key design principle. All right. A company has deployed several relational databases on Amazon EC2 instances. Every month, the database software vendor releases new security patches that need to be applied to the databases. What is the most efficient way to apply the security patches? Option A, connect to each database instance on a monthly basis and download and apply the necessary security patches from the vendor. Enable automate patching for the instances using the Amazon RDS console. In AWS configure a rule for the instances and the required patch level. Or option D, use AWS Systems Manager to automate database patching according to the schedule. So correct option is option D. You need to use AWS System Manager to automate database patching according to the schedule. Which mechanism allows developers to access AWS services from application code, AWS Software Development Kit, AWS Management Console, AWS Code Pipeline, AWS Config. So correct option is option A, AWS Software Development Kit, AWS SDK. Next question. Which AWS feature will reduce the customer's total cost of ownership? TCO, Shared Responsibility Security Model, Single Tenancy, Elastic Computing, or Encryption. Correct option is option C, Elastic Computing. So elastic computing will reduce the customer's total cost of ownership, TCO. Next question. Which of the following is the benefit of using the AWS cloud? Permissive security removes the administrative burden, ability to focus on revenue generating activities, control over cloud network hardware, or choice of the specific cloud hardware vendors. So, what is the benefit here? Option B, you can focus on revenue generating activities. Which of the following are categories of AWS Trusted Advisor? Fault tolerance, instance usage, infrastructure, performance, or storage capacity. So, two categories are option A, fault tolerance, and option D, performance. Moving on. What is Amazon CloudWatch? A code repository with customizable build and team commit features, or a security configuration repository with threat analytics, a metrics repository with customizable notification thresholds and channels, or a rule repository of a web application firewall with automated vulnerability prevention features. So, what is CloudWatch? Option C. CloudWatch is a metrics repository with customizable notification threshold and channels. Alright. Under the AWS shared responsibility model, which of the following activities are the customer's responsibility? Select two correct options. Patching operating system components for Amazon Relational Database Server, Amazon RDS, or option B, encrypting data on the client side. Option C, training the data center staff. Option D, configuring network access control list. Or option E, maintaining environmental controls within a data center. So, what are two customers' responsibilities here? Option B, encrypting data on the client side, as well as customers have to configure ACLs, network access control lists. Under the shared responsibility model, which of the following is a shared control between a customer and AWS? Physical controls, patch management, zone security, data center auditing. So, physical controls, zone security, and data center auditing are the sole AWS responsibility. So, patch management is the shared responsibility between customer and AWS. So, option B, patch management, is the right option here. Moving on, which AWS service is used to pay AWS bills and monitor usage and budget costs? AWS Billing and Cost Management, Consolidated Billing, Amazon CloudWatch, Amazon QuickSight. So, using AWS Billing and Cost Management, you can pay AWS bills and monitor the usage and budget cost. Next question. How do customers benefit from Amazon's massive economic of scale? New Amazon EC2 instance types providing the latest hardware, the ability to scale up and down when needed, increase reliability in the underlying hardware of Amazon EC2 instances, periodic price reduction as the result of Amazon's operational efficiencies. So, the massive economic scale is option D. Periodic price reduction as the result of Amazon's operational efficiencies. So, that's a benefit. All right. Which AWS feature allows a company to take advantage of usage tiers for services across multiple member accounts? Service control policies, SCPS, consolidated billing, all upfront reserved instances, or AWS Cost Explorer. Correct option is option B, consolidated billing. Which AWS services provide a way to extend an on-premises architecture to the AWS cloud? Two correct options: Amazon EBS, Amazon Connect, AWS Storage Gateway, Amazon CloudFront, or AWS Direct Connect. So, which services provide a way to extend an on premises architecture to AWS cloud? Using AWS Storage Gateway and AWS Direct Connect, you can extend an on premises architecture to the AWS cloud. Which of the following services will automatically scale with an expected increase in web traffic? AWS Code Pipeline, Amazon EBS, Elastic Load Balancing, or AWS Direct Connect? Correct option is option C, Elastic Load Balancing. So, Elastic Load Balancing service will automatically scale with an expected increase in web traffic. Next question. Which service provides a virtually unlimited amount of online, highly durable object storage? Amazon Redshift, Amazon Elastic File System, Amazon EFS, Amazon Elastic Container Service, Amazon ECS, or Amazon S3? Correct option is option D, Amazon S3. So, Amazon S3 provides virtually unlimited amount of online, highly durable object storage. So, option D, Amazon S3 is the right choice. Which AWS feature should a customer leverage to achieve high availability of an application? AWS Direct Connect, Availability Zones, Data Centers, or Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, Amazon VPC? Correct option is option B, Availability Zones. So, Availability Zones is a AWS feature that customers can leverage to achieve high availability of application. Moving on. Which AWS service or feature can enhance network security by blocking requests from a particular network for a web application on AWS? AWS WAF, Web Application Firewall, AWS Trusted Advisor, AWS Direct Connect, AWS Organizations, or Network ACLs. Two correct options are A, Amazon WAF, AWS Web Application Firewall, and Network ACLs. Which of the following is a cloud architectural design principle? Scale up, not out, loosely coupled components, build monolithic systems, or use commercial database software? So, correct option is option B, loosely coupled component. Next question. Which service enables risk auditing by continuously monitoring and logging account activity, including user actions in the AWS Management Console and AWS SDKs? Amazon CloudWatch, AWS CloudTrail, AWS Config, AWS Health. So, correct option is AWS CloudTrail. So, when you enable AWS CloudTrail, it will start auditing your APIs and it will also log your API details. Moving on. The financial benefits of using AWS are reduce total cost of ownership, increase capital expenditure, reduce operational expenditure, deferred payment plans for startups, or business credit lines for startups. Two correct options are A, reduce total cost of ownership TCO, and reduce operational expenditure OPEX. So these are two financial benefits when you use AWS. What are the benefits of using the AWS cloud for companies with customers in many countries around the world? Amazon Translate automatically translates third party website interfaces into multiple languages. Amazon CloudFront has multiple edge locations around the world to reduce latency. Amazon Comprehend allows users to build applications that can respond to user requests in many languages. Elastic Load Balancing can distribute application web traffic to multiple AWS regions around the world, which reduce latency. Or companies can deploy applications in multiple AWS regions to reduce latencies. So, what are two main benefits? First is Amazon CloudFront has multiple edge locations around the world that will reduce the application latency, as well as companies can deploy applications in multiple AWS regions that will also reduce the latency. Option B and option E are two correct options here. Moving on, which of the following are main components of AWS global infrastructure? Resource groups, availability zones, security groups, regions, or Amazon machine images? Two correct options are B and D. Availability zones and regions are main components of AWS global infrastructure. Next question. What is the AWS customer responsible for according to the AWS shared responsibility model? Physical access controls, data encryption, secure disposable of storage devices, or environmental risk management. So option A, physical access controls. Option C, secure disposable of storage devices. As well as option D, environmental risk management. All three responsibilities are of AWS, and that's why option B, data encryption, is customer's responsibility. All right. If each department within a company has its own AWS account, what is the one way to enable consolidated billing? Use AWS budgets on each account to pay only to budget. Contact AWS support for a monthly bill. Create an AWS organization from the payer account and invite the other accounts to join. Or put all invoices into one Amazon Simple Storage Service bucket. Load data into Amazon Redshift and run a billing report. So there is one way that can enable consolidated billing, that option C. You need to create an AWS organization from the payer account and then invite the other accounts to join. Next question. What costs are included when comparing AWS total cost of ownership with on-premises total cost of ownership? Project management, antivirus software licensing, software development, or data center security? Correct option is option D, data center security. Moving on. What is the benefit of using AWS managed services like Amazon Elastic Cache and Amazon Relational Database Service, Amazon RDS? They require the customers to monitor and replace failing instances. They have better performance than customer managed services. They simplify patching and updating underlying OS, or they do not require the customer to optimize instance type or size selections. So, what is the main benefit of using AWS managed services is option C. They simplify patching and updating underlying OS. Next question. Which services can be used across hybrid AWS cloud architectures? Amazon Route 53, Virtual Private Gateway, Classic Load Balancer, Auto Scaling, or Amazon CloudWatch default matrices. So, correct options are Amazon Route 53 and Virtual Private Gateway are two services can be used across hybrid AWS cloud architectures. Which statement best describes elastic load balancing? It translates a domain name into an IP address using DNC. It distributes incoming traffic across one or more Amazon EC2 instances. It collects metrics on connected Amazon EC2 instances. Or option D, it automatically adjusts the number of Amazon EC2 instances to support incoming traffic. So, which statement is the best describes elastic load balancing is option B. It distributes incoming application traffic across one or more Amazon EC2 instances. Moving on, which of the following is a fast and reliable NoSQL database service? Amazon Redshift, Amazon RDS, Amazon DynamoDB, or Amazon S3? Amazon DynamoDB is a fast and reliable NoSQL database service. Option C. Alright. Which AWS services are defined as global instead of regional? Amazon Route 53, Amazon EC2, Amazon S3, Amazon CloudFront, or Amazon DynamoDB. Two correct options are A. Amazon Route 53 and Amazon CloudFront. Both services are defined as global instead of regional. How would an AWS customer easily apply common access controls to a large set of users? Apply an IAM policy to an IAM group. Apply an IAM policy to an IAM role. Apply the same IAM policy to all IAM users with access to the same workload. Or option D, apply an IAM policy to an Amazon Cognito user pool. Correct option is option A. You need to apply an IAM policy to an IAM group. Next question. Which of the following is an important architectural design principle when designing cloud applications? Use tightly coupled components, use open source software, provision extra capacity, or use multiple availability zones. Correct option is option D. You need to use multiple availability zones. And that's one of the design principle when designing cloud architecture applications. Which service allows a company with multiple AWS accounts to combine its usage to obtain volume discounts? AWS Server Migration Service, AWS Organizations, AWS Budgets, AWS Trusted Advisor. Correct answer is option B, AWS Organizations. So, AWS Organization Service allows a company with multiple AWS accounts to combine its usage to obtain volume discounts. Which of the following can an AWS customer use to launch a new Amazon Relational Database Service cluster? AWS Concierge, AWS CloudFormation, Amazon Simple Storage Service, Amazon EC2 Autoscaling, AWS Management Console. Two correct options are option B, AWS CloudFormation, and option E, AWS Management Console. Moving on. Which of the following reserved instances pricing models provides the highest average savings compared to on-demand pricing? 1 year no upfront standard RI pricing, 1 year all upfront convertible RI pricing, 3 year all upfront standard RI pricing, 3 year no upfront convertible RI pricing. So, correct option is 3 year all upfront standard reserved instance pricing. Which of the following are features of Amazon CloudWatch logs? It summarizes by Amazon Simple Notification Service, free Amazon Elasticsearch Service Analytics provided at no charge, real time monitoring, or adjustable retention. Two correct options are D, real time monitoring, and adjustable retention. Moving on. Which of the following is an AWS managed compute service? Amazon SWF, Amazon EC2, AWS Lambda, Amazon Aurora. Correct option is AWS Lambda. AWS Lambda is an AWS managed compute service. A company wants to reduce the physical compute footprint that developers use to run code. Which service would meet that need by enabling serverless architecture? Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud, Amazon EC2, AWS Lambda, Amazon DynamoDB, AWS Code Commit. So here is the need is serverless architecture, and that's why option B, AWS Lambda, is the right option here. Which of the following is the customer's responsibility under the AWS shared responsibility model? Patching underlying infrastructure, physical security, patching Amazon EC2 instances, patching network infrastructure. So, out of all these four options, patching underlying infrastructure, physical security, and patching network infrastructure, all three responsibilities comes under AWS. That's why option C, patching Amazon EC2 instances, is the customer's responsibility. Moving on. According to the AWS shared responsibility model, who is responsible for configuration management? It is solely the responsibility of the customer. It is the responsibility of AWS. It is not part of the AWS shared responsibility model. It is shared between AWS and customer. Correct option is option D. Configuration management is shared between AWS and the customer. Next question. Which security service automatically recognizes and classifies sensitive data or intellectual property on AWS? Amazon Guard Duty, Amazon Mackie, Amazon Inspector, or AWS Shield. Option B, Amazon Mackie, is a security service that automatically recognizes and classifies sensitive data or intellectual property on AWS. Alright. Which of the following best describe the AWS pricing model? Fixed term, pay as you go, co-location, planned, or variable cost? Two correct options are B, pay as you go, and E, variable cost. Next question. Under the shared responsibility model, which of the following tasks are the responsibility of the AWS customer? Ensuring that application data is encrypted at rest, ensuring that AWS NTP servers are set to the correct time, ensuring that users have received security training in the use of AWS services, ensuring that access to data center is restricted, ensuring that hardware is disposable of properly. So, two correct options are A. Customers have to ensure that application data is encrypted at rest, as well as customers have to ensure that the users have received security training of AWS services.